Great. So yeah, then I would pass it over now to Carina to share with us more. She's currently also back in Uganda. She took part in the summit as well, and she presented her results already to the members of SINA and now also to all of us. And she's sitting somewhere in the middle of a national park, but found some internet, and yeah, we'll hope it will be a good connection. So Carina, over to you, and then later to Juliet.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. I hope it will work. Oh, God. Okay, can you all see and hear me? Yeah, great.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for attending the Zoom call tonight. I'm happy to present you my thesis, which is called Social Entrepreneurship as a Path to Developing Freedoms, an empirical study about SINA and its impacts on individual agency. So myself, I'm Carina Schenk. I have done a master's program, social work, social policy, and social management in Austria. And I came across SINA in a course of my studies. And I decided I wanted to cooperate because I really liked the idea. And I really thought that it makes a big difference to lives of people. That was my intuition. And I wanted to do some research on that. That's why I decided to do that study. So this is the structure of the presentation. So I'm going to start with the research question, then I'll explain the theoretic frame, the methodology, the results, conclusion, and then the limits and suggestions will be in the end. So I said I was doing a research study, and what we always need to do a research study is a research question. So what I was asking myself about SINA is how the SINA empowerment program impacts the participants' agency. So when I say participants, I mean the scholars, the SINA scholars. And to break that research question down, I want to show you what I mean with the SINA empowerment program, which is the following. It's about the SINA empowerment concept. So there's, as you probably, most of you already know, there's 5 stages of the training that the scholars undergo at Django International. And like starting with confusion stage and going up until mastery stage, where ideally the people who are in mastery stage should be empowered, self-sustainable, and self-reliable social entrepreneurs. So that would be what I call the empowerment program. And then another concept that is needed to be explained is the term of agency. So what is meant by agency? I decided to use this very broad definition of agency, which says that agency is a capacity of a person to define aspirational goals, first of all, and then to coordinate knowledge, skills, attitudes, resources, which are both internally and externally available to the person in order to take action to achieve the stated goals. So simply put, it means you can define and you can set goals, and you're also able to achieve them in the end. That's what's meant by agency. So again, the question was, how does the SINA empowerment program impact the agency, like this capacity of the scholars? Yeah. So another, like, trying to bring these two into relation, the term of empowerment, which is always used very often at Django International and at all SINAs, and agency. Simply put, what the literature says is that empowerment is the expansion of agency. And now I already want to come to the practical part. So what I did, I went to Django International about a year ago. It was in February 2022. And I decided to conduct a mixed qualitative approach, which means I did participatory observation and noted my observations down in autoethnographic protocols. And then I also conducted 12 interviews. I had 6 female and 6 male interviewees. And I evaluated all the data that I won through the software MaxQDA, which is a qualitative analysis software, and qualitative content analysis by Cookhartz, which is a German scientist. So coming to the results, part 2. So what I found out, and I think this is very important, so there was a basic frame that I took from the literature and that I had to adapt to the data that I want. So what I found out is that the SINA, or Canggu International, offers a specific opportunity structure to their students. An opportunity structure is the environment that is offered to people to either increase or emphasize or impede agency. So in any environment, the opportunity structure will be different. And I have found out that at SINA, at Canggu International, since the scholars are taking out from their usual environment and put in a totally new environment, Canggu International, or I always call it SINA, offers a very specific opportunity structure, which I call the SINA opportunity structure. And this opportunity structure offers different factors that again then work on assets, capabilities, and skills of scholars that are necessary to develop agency. So I'll start with the first pillar, which is the opportunity structure, and I'll show you what I found out about the opportunity structure, or which are the factors of the opportunity structure. So these 6 pillars or 6 spheres are the social, cultural, and political context, the SINA culture, education and training, the social enterprise, people, relationship and networks, and then there's also other factors. And I want to go into detail about 3 of those spheres a little bit. And one of them is what I call SINA culture, which consists of those 7 different elements that I could have identified when I did my research. So we have eye level instead of hierarchies, which means that it's always intended also through the holacracy system, if you know what the holacracy system means. Otherwise, I can explain you later, but you can, does everyone know what holacracy is? Or does anyone not know? I don't know if I see everyone, but I think you know. Otherwise, sorry?
It's all good.
Yeah, great. All right. So through the holacracy system, but also through other factors, there is this approach of being on eye-to-eye level with everyone. Everyone needs to be on eye level. And then there we have diversity appreciation. So each and every individual is appreciated in how they are, in the way, in the special way they are. And an error culture, I think that is speaking for itself. And then we have nonviolent communication as a very important element that helps fostering agency. Then potential positivity, meaning that there is the belief that everyone has big potential to grow. Seeing opportunities in challenges would mean that you always make the best of challenges, that you create something from a challenge, from a problem, which is the social entrepreneurship approach. And then we have the together more can be done, meaning that one person can do a lot, but 2 or 3 or 4 people can do even more. Then the next term that I have picked is what I call this teacher, because at Django International, there are no usual teachers, but they are called trainers. And I thought it would be nice to make a word out of SINA and teacher, so I call them teacher. And those teachers, they don't only transmit knowledge to the scholars, but they provide space and contents for scholars to generate ideas and knowledge and acquire skills on their own. It's what they call facilitation training style. And they also ask many questions to activate the scholars' reflexive and creative thinking capacities and lead scholars to connect what they learned to their previous knowledge and experiences, making them more effective learners. And that all in the end also influences the agency, like the possibility of setting and achieving goals of the scholars. And then lastly, in this pillar, in the opportunity structure pillar, we have the SINA platform, which I've found out is very, very important for agency. And the SINA platform, I divided into the so-called accountability partners and testimonies and role models. And here you can see examples on how the accountability partners influence agency enhancing factors. So for example, hope is an agency enhancing factor that will help developing agency. And also self-esteem, emotional intelligence, perseverance, and different skills and capabilities. Okay, then we come to the second pillar. Again, I show you the graph here, so you see which what I'm talking about. So we were talking about this SINA opportunity structure, and now we're talking about the assets, capabilities, and skills that are necessary to create agency. And those two, just to one more time explain it, they are influencing each other, they are interrelated. So the SINA opportunity structure is influencing the development of assets, capabilities, and skills necessary for agency. And also the assets, capabilities, and skills, they are working back on the opportunity structure. All right, so what I have found out, like the different elements of the assets and capabilities that I have identified are the following, of which the three that are in that orange frame are seem to be the most important because they were most mentioned. So psychological capital and capabilities, social capital and capabilities, and human capital and capabilities. I'll only present two of them. One of them being self-esteem, in the literally called which in the literature is called to be one of the most important factors for developing agency. And self-esteem here, as I understand it, and as the literature understands it, is the belief in one's abilities and worth. And in this list here, you can see which elements of the SINA opportunity structure are positively influencing self-esteem of scholars. So that could be, for example, when they learn tools for goal setting in a session, or the social enterprise and the impact of the social enterprise. Then the support from one-on-ones, coaches and mentors, which are the accountability partners, or again, being on eye-to-eye level with teachers, trainers, and coaches. And the next, next element of the second pillar of the assets, skills, and capabilities then would be social capital, which is also which has been found out to be extremely important. Yeah, someone just asked if we're okay. It's it's interesting in the channel. So what I found out about the social capital of the scholars at Django International is that there is an expansion of network among like-minded people, among people who have similar ideas, visions, and goals. and that people there are getting to know inspiring and supportive personalities, projects, and organizations. Then those contacts, they also provide possibilities to cooperate with others, with other social enterprises, organizations. Then the visibility of the social enterprise or the person, they will also increase. And opportunities for sponsors, donors, organization, and so on, who are willing to provide funding will arise. And what I think is very important is that a social entrepreneur can, in the best case, serve as a link between those people who are more powerful in society, the more powerful social groups, and the less well-off, who are in need of help, support, or empowerment. Okay, that's that. And now I come to the conclusion. So concluding, SINA offers a specific opportunity structure that supports the development of capabilities and skills necessary for agency, as already mentioned. The SINA Empowerment Program supports scholars in identifying their values, objectives, and their purpose, and teaches them skills to translate their goals into exercising and gaining agency. But also the community lab and the social enterprise help gaining various skills and capitals, which are necessary for training and exercising agentic capacity. On the other hand, some elements who can support the development of agency, they can also hamper it. For example, responsibility or holacracy. If responsibility is not understood fully, or if it's one-sided, like if people only enjoy the freedom but don't understand the responsibility aspect, then it could actually be something that blocks them from developing agency. And what are the limits of my study? And open questions that I would still have to investigate. So it is unclear what the impact of the personality of someone is on the development of agency in Canggu International. It is also unclear, but it seems to be a big impact is the role of the scholar selection. So to which extent are applicants already empowered when they are picked to enter the SINA Empowerment Program, and what do they need to bring? Then there is the question of the dropout. Some people, they can successfully complete the program, others they drop out early or they drop out. And what are the reasons? What are the factors for the dropout? And then connected to that is the dropout rate, which seems to be especially high among girls. Why is it so high? Which are the factors for that? Then there's also the issue of internal power structures that might be hidden at Canggu International, who could complicate or impede the empowerment of scholars. And yeah, the limit or something that has to be added is that this study that I've done is only the beginning. It has opened a lot of space, a lot of opportunities to dig in deeper. And I think that a lot more research, especially on a long term, needs to be done on either this or other related topics. So lastly, I would come to suggestions that is resulting from the study. So I would say that research on gender-specific empowerment would be extremely interesting to do, because SINA is facing the gender-specific dropout rate. And it would be, I think it would make a lot of sense to research on that. Why is it girls that drop out more easily? We have speculations, but we don't have facts. So it's always better to get facts and then find out how to deal with it. Then, as already mentioned, the accountability partners, trainers and partners are very, very important for the empowerment, for developing agency for the scholars. So investment in them is probably a good idea. As already mentioned, long-term research and establishing a holacracy cycle at Schenk International for doing research would also be a good idea. And then the last 2 points, investigation in the scholar selection process, finding out what is the role of the scholar selection, how it can be done in a fair, in a way, so that people like can be empowered. Like, let's say also maybe increasing the efficiency of the scholar selection of the empowerment program in total. And then lastly, would be good to use the results of both this research and the research to come to further develop the SINA empowerment program that I was talking about right now. Yeah, that's it from my side. If you have any questions, the Q&A section is after Juliet's presentation, but you can keep them from there. Thank you for your attention.